Good morning, Purium people. This is David Litt. I've been in charge of sales and marketing for the company. Glad that you are on this Facebook Live this morning. I believe it is December 14th, and we're going to be talking about handling objections. So, good topic. Saw that in the list of topics. I believe it was Chris who wanted to hear a little bit about that. Hey, Kimberly. Welcome. Good morning. So he had a specific kind of set of objections having to do with a nonprofit. I'm going to handle the subject on a little more general basis, though. So, hey, Noelani, welcome. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Glad you're here. Hi, Autumn. Thanks for being on. Going to get started in just a moment. Going to do this in a couple of parts. It's a big subject and something that I think you'll get some value from, those of you who are helping others enroll. And so I think that's a big piece of the business, is as you move up in rank to help others with their business and help people get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into things, and let's talk about handling objections. And so I think that number one, let's talk about how the process of communication works as far as getting somebody enrolled as a customer or getting them enrolled as a brand partner. So when you begin the conversations, you want to start really, really wide with your questions, really, really wide in asking open-ended questions. So basically, you know, how are things going? How can I help? How is your health? You know, are you, what are you looking for? So whether these are questions about product-oriented things, you know, as far as, you know, what are your goals, or, you know, tell me a little bit about, you know, your favorite sports, or how active you are, or are you looking to lose weight, or what would be the best thing that could happen, or why would you use superfoods, or what superfoods do you use, or, you know, kind of these general questions. And same thing on the business side, you know. If you're having the conversation about business, is, you know, what are your goals for 2018, or what's your plan B, or, you know, I know you've got kids that are, that are in college. Do you mind me asking, you know, what your plan is for how you're saving for that? Or I know you're open to, you know, looking. You said you were open to, you know, investigating another opportunity. Tell me a little bit more about what you've done. Or, you know, so you're asking these open-ended questions, trying to get a sense of, you know, where people are at, what they're looking for, how you can help them. You know, to be a great network marketer, you want to be a great networker and find opportunities to help people. So as that conversation starts to happen and you start to share some tools, you start to, you know, direct them to the website with your gift card, or you know, share some videos from your phone app, you know, people are starting to look at information, they're starting to review information, and whether these are your prospects, or if you are somebody who's an executive or a diamond or green diamond, you're working with people below you, they're sharing tools, they're sharing information, and now suddenly they have somebody who's pretty interested but has some questions. And so I think there's a big misconception. If somebody has questions, they just want to understand, they just want to learn more. And so, you know, the decision to buy a product should be pretty straightforward and pretty easy. There shouldn't be a ton of questions. There might be questions about how the product is made, or how long the company's been in business, or what the source is, or, you know, how a product works. But in general, you know, most people are comfortable with making product decisions every day, and the main thing that you want to share with them is our 60-day money-back guarantee. We've been in business 25 years, our commitment to purity, and, you know, just have them try the product, and you know, if they don't like it, we'll give them their money back. You know, the more regular objections come on the brand partner side as somebody's evaluating a business, because that's a much bigger commitment. It's a bigger financial commitment, $499, but importantly, it's a commitment of their time. It's a commitment of their reputation. It's a commitment of, you know, something that they're not as comfortable oftentimes talking about or thinking about. It has to do with money. It has to do with, you know, starting a business. And most people, even experienced entrepreneurs, don't start a business on a regular basis. But obviously an experienced entrepreneur is going to know what questions to ask and know what they're looking for. An inexperienced person is actually going to have more questions because they don't know what questions to ask. They don't know, and they're just going to be kind of in general nervous about the process. And so you want to help them to understand, you know, how the business works in a simple way, why the business will work, why the business will work for them. And also you want to ask them questions as well. So the person who's asking the questions is the person who's in control of the conversation. So earlier in my career, I worked for the Microsoft Corporation as a consultant. We work with the top level salespeople, and one of the things that we found was that the one characteristic that top level salespeople did was they asked great questions. So they helped to qualify their prospects and ultimately helped to make a decision, not necessarily just through presentation, but really through asking questions and helping the prospect make the decision themselves. So that's a really, really important idea, is that there is a little bit of a human tendency when somebody asks a question to get defensive or to dig in or to answer the question or maybe over answer the question. And those are just natural tendencies that people have. Sometimes that, hey, tell me why I should, and you feel that energy of, oh my gosh, they're challenging me. I'm going to have to, give them the answer. I'm going to have to, explain in long-winded fashion what's going on. But the reality is that the person who's asking the question is in control of the conversation. So helping to, actually ask a question back or to understand fully what it is that their intention is going to be helpful. So I have all day long, every day, for people who have true, honest questions. If they're looking to go from point A to point Z, and they have 10, 20, 30, 50 questions along the way to make the decision, I'm going to be there to help them to understand, to ask them questions, and to help for them to make a good decision. I like to say it's an open book test, and that we want somebody involved as a brand partner who is committed, who knows what they're getting into and what it's all about. But I don't have any time for somebody who's just going to run me in circles. People who are asking questions just to make my life difficult or just to hear themselves talk or to make themselves feel smart. So I think that's something that's really important, is to understand the nature of the question, understand the intent of the question, and trying to get a sense of whether somebody's really trying to get an answer or whether somebody's really just trying to run you in circles. Whether they are asking a specific question, hoping for a specific answer, or they're asking questions just because they kind of don't know what to ask or where to go because they're an inexperienced business person. So you need to help them navigate. I like to say this is an open book test. And so, somebody asking a question about how much is it going to cost, or how much does it cost every month, or what does it take, or tell me somebody who's successful, or all those kinds of things are legitimate questions to help understand, kind of where they're at in the process. But a couple of kind of strategic ideas when people are asking questions, and in part 2 we'll get into some specific questions like, either questions or objections about, I've got no time, I've got no money, is this a sales job, I don't like MLM, is this an MLM? Handling those specific issues, concerns, or objections, those questions. But in theory, I think the thing that you want to say is that you want to be on the same side of the table as them. You want to be on their team. You want to help them make a good decision. And, there may be times where somebody just doesn't see the same vision you see. The timing may not be right, or they may have an issue where they're not ready to move forward, and that's fine. We'll be there next week, next month, next year for them. So we want to be on the same side of the table. We don't want to be adversarial. We don't want to make them wrong. If somebody says, I don't have any time, and you say, you've got time, immediately, they're going to prove to you that they don't have time. If they say, I don't have any money, and you say, well, you've got to have some money, this is cheap, then immediately you're trying to make them wrong, and they're going to prove that they're right. So being adversarial about things never, never, never gets you anywhere. So what you want to do is help them to see a different way of looking at something. And again, we'll get into some specifics in part 2, but if they say that, they're not a good salesperson, then you need to ask questions to help them understand what they don't like about sales, and show them a different way of looking at how sharing is not selling, and how offering gift cards to people is doing something good, and that we wouldn't want them to sell something they don't believe in, and we would love for them to try the product, and if they tried the product, would they be open to moving forward and sharing that product with other people. So just giving people a different perspective on how to look at things, and then also being honest about your experience. One of the most classic, techniques in this regard in handling objections is called feel, felt, found. And so basically somebody says, I have no money, or I have no time, or I don't want to be a salesperson, or is this MLM? I don't like MLM. And, for you to say, hey, I know how you feel. I was a little concerned about MLM as well. I felt that same way. But what I found was that actually once I understood the model and understood that I could get paid on the efforts of other people and leverage time, boy, it was amazing. It really opened up my mind to non-linear income, non-hourly income, and actually getting paid on efforts that weren't my own. So let me share with you, or let me connect you to somebody in my upline who can share in a little more detail. Or, I have no money, I have no money. I know how you feel. Things are tough for me. I remember, credit card bills that were just piling up. It's so scary. I felt the same way, but what I found was that I had to draw a line in the sand, and, I scrounged together the money to make this happen, and now suddenly I'm getting my supplements for free. I'm actually making some money and starting to dig my way out of the hole. So, at some point, would you be open to, looking at a way to kind of draw a line in the sand, or how would we be able to come up with, that initial investment, or maybe we can find some people who are ready to go, ready to buy products. Maybe we can start promoting before you buy, and then, it's going to really offset the cost. So let me help you to find a different way to look at this, so that now suddenly their wheels are turning and they're starting to say, oh, wow, if I could find a couple of people who would want to join with me, maybe we could do a group cleanse. And if we do a group cleanse and you have 3, 4, 5 people doing it with you, your pack is going to be free, and you've got unlimited gift cards for the full year. And the next thing you know, you could be earning income, paying down those credit card debts. So that's how you can help to handle an objection with somebody, is to, be on the same side of the table as them, understand their condition, empathize with their condition, but, validate it, but only to a point at which you can help them to see something differently. So you don't want to have a pity party. You don't want to get adversarial with them. You want to be on their side, help them to see things the way you're seeing things. Ask them questions. If they say, is this network marketing? I don't like network marketing. Then ask them a question rather than being defensive, saying, why don't you like network marketing? Have you been involved in a network marketing business before? Yeah, I was in one 5 years ago. Well, what happened? Well, I got, no support from my upline. Well, no problem. I've got an awesome upline. I'm going to be here to support you, but let me introduce you to 2 or 3 people that are my business partners. Why didn't it work for you? Oh, gosh, the product stunk. People got headaches and blah, 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 blah. Well, here's an awesome thing. We've got a 60-day money-back guarantee. Let's start with a gift card. Would you be open to sharing these products? If I gave you a gift card, you tried the products, you had a good experience, it didn't give you headaches, you actually felt better. This chill spray is awesome. It's actually going to, this ease spray, or, whatever it may be, I'm going to give you a product that's actually going to make you feel better. So those are kind of concepts as to how to handle objections. Feel, felt, found, getting on the same side of the table, not being adversarial, being open to questions, asking questions, helping people to make a good decision, not wasting time with people who are just running you in circles, using the 60-day money-back guarantee, using your upline, and we'll go through a handful of specific objections that often come up, like money, time, network marketing, salespeople, that kind of thing, and we'll cover that in part 2. So thanks everybody for being on, and we'll catch you tomorrow.